Welcome to Rickshaw Scale Modelling. This is part 10 of Italeri Operation Silver Bayonet. Scale is 1 to 72. This is a Vietnam diorama site, as you can see on the box, and I've been building the individual parts before placing them into a diorama, which I haven't done yet. So far, I've built the helicopter, the tanks, personnel carrier, and a couple of the structures. And this is what I'm going to be carrying on with. So in this part 10, I'm going to be building the observation post or guard tower. So let's jump into this and see how well I get on. Itself is a really simple construction. I don't have to make up the side panels or anything like that. All that and I'm having to do on the main tower is put in the support slats. So this is what I'm doing. I'm starting at the bottom and I shall work my way to the top. Each one has its own little location point. So I'm just marrying them up and placing them in. And once I've got one side in, then I'll put the first rung in the other side. So I'm starting to form the tower. There's only 3 runs in this tower to do, so 6 in individual pieces. So the middle ones are going in exactly the same as the base. Well, I ran into a problem here. I was following the instructions and placing in these struts, and I noticed they didn't marry up. They didn't follow the grid. Something was obviously wrong, and once I looked at it, I realised that the top ones I'm placing in now should have been the middle ones, and vice versa. Now the instructions say put the ones that I put in the middle should be in the middle. But it's wrong. They got the numbers the wrong way around. It was a simple fix, but it's worth mentioning because if you've got this kit, you may fall into the same problems. I was a bit annoyed I'd done it actually because I keep on banging on about dry fitting, and this particular one I didn't dry fit, and I ended up with this slight little problem. Nevertheless, it was easy to sort out in the end. The struts hadn't set at all, so I just plucked them off the location areas and reversed them over. I should say I pre-painted these in Humbrol's 110 natural wood, just like the other structures. It's all the base paint, that painting that I did. So I'm just placing the last strut on now, the proper one. You can see it slightly going in. As I said, I should have caught the mistake before I actually cemented it, but there you go. I'll just pull up the instructions to show you what I was on about. Where I'm pointing are the slats, so those ones should have gone into the middle, and the middle ones should have gone to the top. It was as simple as that. Next to go on is the base platform, and that just sits squarely on the top. The location points are well defined. There's a little bar that runs around it, and the thing just sits inside it. Next are the side panels. Again, not a problem at fitting these. Now, I would suggest building it the way I do. Don't sub-assembly this. It's easier to build onto the tower itself than doing the observation post and then cementing it to the tower. Just build it up as you go along. I started with one of the longer side panels before carrying on. There's also a smaller side panel for the entry point to the observation post. Now, you may be tempted to put that in first because it's a smaller piece, but it's better putting the larger ones in so that you can line it up. And it's same with the support struts here that I'm placing in. Again, don't place them in until you've got the corner formed. That way you know you're going to get the strut itself in the correct position and straight. These support struts, you have to be careful because they are 2 different sizes because the roof slopes down. So pay attention to the sizes because the larger ones will go in the back and also the smaller ones will go on the front position. And then I'm just fitting the last side panel. This is the smaller piece to form the entry. and then of course the last strut to go in. You might find this one a little bit more trickier to fit because the front panel is quite small. Next is the roof, and that just sits on the struts. Again, there's location points on the underside of this for it to fit on. So you can see it there on the mat, just sloping down slightly. Now, if you're building this and you don't wait for it to dry 100%, just be careful of the angle of the whole structure. It can warp out if you're not careful. Lie it down on your bench, and that way I'll keep it straight as you're putting on the roof like I'm doing. The last thing to go on is the access ladder. Now, I should have mentioned this at the start. The tower itself, the front panel of the tower, there's a little location point for the ladder to be attached to. Make sure they're in the right order when you're building the actual tower, so it's going to marry up with the platform. It is simple when you think about it, but it's also very easy just to get them the wrong way around. And when you come to fit the tower, the ladder, you'll find it doesn't line up. Luckily, I didn't make that mistake. So in the end, it turned out to be an okay little build, apart from that small problem with the struts. So it's time to start weathering all of these three structures. And if you watch the previous video, you'll see me starting that process on the first aid structure, which is the one on the bottom left of the screen. This time around, I'm starting with the lighter colour. So this is colour LPW19 Wood Deck Shadow. Now this is the lighter version of the dark one I've used. This is the one I generally use for my wooden decks on ships and things like that. And these are washes, and I've explained this before. They can be brushed as well, but they're predominantly for airbrushing. But you can just use your brush as well. Just keep your brush nice and moist when you're applying these pigments. So what I'm doing here is I've got a bit of brush, then I'm just streaking it down the areas. Now, if you put it on and if you think it's a bit too much, a bit too harsh, there's a couple of ways around that. You can either just dab a little bit off with a damp towel or paper towel, or like I'm doing here, or you can just wet your brush again and blend it in, and that's all you're doing. You're just blending these colours in. And it's worth mentioning as well, these colours won't dry as you see them going on. They soften up and blend in more as they dry. So once the water evaporates from them, you just end up with a hint of the colour. Now, of course, you don't have to use a light colour washes to do this. There's many products out there that you can get the same effect. I mean, this what I'm just bringing up here now, this is the Ammo Make oil brushers, I think I pronounced that right. And these are designed to do the exact same thing, but the only difference with that product is you have to gloss everything first and then put them on. Those ones are oil based, and so you need quite a robust paint thinner to take the excess away. So I've got a big range of these, but the reason why I'm not using them is because basically I've run out of matte varnish, so I would have to gloss, use the product, and then use the matte varnish to bring it all back down. You can also try AK weathering pencils. These are watercolor pencils, so you wet the pencil or the area before using them. Now, I probably will be using these at some stage on the buildings, but as I said, there's many different options out there that you can try if you haven't got, say, the light color paint. You can even just thin down the paint that you do have to do this. So anyway, it's back to Life Color LPW18, the Wood Deck Darkener. This is the dark one that I used initially on the first aid station, and I'm applying it just the same way, putting down the streaks, taking away any excess or blending it in with water, however the situation deems. It's all done by feel and eye. There's no set plan. Just go with what it feels like, and eventually you build up those different tones and colours to make the wood look more natural. So this is where I'll end part 10. If you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel for my other builds? If you subscribe to the channel, and please do so, make sure you hit the notification bell. That way you'll be kept up to date, not only with this build, but all my future builds as well, of course. Hit the like button. Don't be afraid to leave a comment, especially if you've got any other ideas for the weathering products that I may not have mentioned. And, of course, you can share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye-bye.